Hello and welcome. These are my hands. This is a little bit different of a video. I wanted to go over some of the recent pickups I had in terms of January games that I was able to pick up. There are a few things that I'm still waiting on from the end of the month, but wanted to go over stuff that I actually received by the tail end of the month because it was quite a big month of pickups for me. So without further ado, let's kind of go through some of the items here. First one we have is Neptunia Riders versus Dogoos. This originally released in Japan last year, but it finally has come to the States this year in January of 2025. This game retails for $40, and it'll take you about 2 hours maximum to beat. I do not recommend this game if you are not a huge Neptunia fan. It is my first entry into the series, and as much as a fun little romp as it was, I can't really recommend it to anyone who's not a huge fan of the series, because like I said, the value proposition just isn't there. But that is one of the new games for the month, so we'll kick off with that. Next are some pickups I got from Woot, which is a Amazon subsidiary. They have some good deals from time to time. The first one of which is going to be Cadence of Hyrule. I've been wanting to get this one for quite some time. I've had this recommended to me from some friends. This is still sealed. I have not gotten a chance to play this one yet, but this does come with all of the DLC. So I am very excited to kind of take a crack at this one eventually, and kind of pop this into the Switch and really see what this is all about. I know one of the spin-offs to the series, Rift of the Necrodancer, I believe is set to come out soon on PC and Switch and a bunch of other platforms. So really excited to jump in and see what this one's all about. Next up is a game called Lost Words. Don't really know a ton about this one. It was, I believe, $9.99 on Woot at the time that I bought it. It looks like it's some kind of platformer narrative adventure, it says, set within the personal diary of a young girl named Izzy. It is a limited run game, which is shocking that a limited run game would go down to $10 in price, but you know, here we are. So excited to eventually dive into that one as well. And then the last kind of Woot pickup that I got for this little set was No More Heroes 3. Once again, this one is also still sealed, but this one was $15. And at that price, I kind of couldn't pass this one up. I did play the original No More Heroes, I believe, back on the Wii, but haven't played 2 and obviously have not played 3, but very excited to jump back in here. One other game that I have not, brought over here for the purpose of this video is Unicorn Overlord. I do already own that on the Switch, and I did pick up the collector's edition on the PlayStation 5 simply to get the card game that came with it. That was also part of my Woot order, but don't have that with me at this time. It's kind of boxed up in the closet, but that was another part of that Woot order. The next is going to be part of one of my many VGP orders this month, and that is Trails of Cold Steel 1 and Trails of Cold Steel 2. I have not really dived too deep into the Trails series as of yet, but I have heard great things about it. I do have a couple of the Trails games on Switch, and I have dabbled into one of them thus far. I do have, I believe, Trails, one of the Heroes games pre-ordered, upcoming in February here, but really kind of just got sucked into the word of mouth and the fact that once these games get their physical prints, they don't really get reprinted. So kind of jumped at the opportunity at the fact that these were $32 a piece and not, $100+ So was very happy to pick these up from VGP with the free shipping if you got both of these. So that was a great pickup for me. Next is a couple of games that I got from P&P Games, which was my first time ordering from them. One is Freedom Wars Remastered, and the other being Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. So Freedom Wars Remastered. Freedom Wars is one of my favorite games from the Vita back in the day. Loved my time with it. It is basically a Monster Hunter clone. It was a PS Vita Sony exclusive, and it looks like the rights have been picked up from Bandai Namco. So very excited to dive in there. I have played about 4 or 5 hours of this so far. I do not remember it being as slow going in the beginning as it actually is, but you know, it is still an enjoyable game once you do really get into it. So have enjoyed my time with this one this far. I will be putting some more time into this before Monster Hunter Wilds, you know, does come out at least. And then Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I am currently playing Persona 3 Reload right now on the Series X. Really enjoying my time with that. So we'll probably finish that before we dive into this. The funny thing about this is I actually ordered this to hit the minimum on my cart for P&P Games to try to get Freedom Wars Remastered, because Freedom Wars Remastered was sold out everywhere at the time. If I dig into my pile of purchases for the rest of the month, I will also find the Steelbook copy of Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance that I ordered from GameStop. This came in GameStop new, you know, GameStop new, so, you know, actually open, complete in box, with the DLC codes and everything like that. So, you know, I'm happy to get this. This is the copy that I'll be keeping, the Steelbook, you know, launch edition copy. But this one I'll probably have listed on eBay or just give to a friend to meet that minimum. I got them both for, you know, around 22 bucks. So, you know, it's not that big of a loss if I can't make any money or make my money back on that. But basically wanted to get this game as well. And I happened to make both orders on the same day, so it kind of complicated things. But that's why there's 2 copies there. The rest of that other GameStop order that came with the Steelbook copy of Shin Megami Tensei 5 also included Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. And this has, it looks like the Legendary Banana Edition. This also came in GameStop new, you know, so it was not sealed. But it comes in with this little adventure book, which I think is pretty cool to have. You know, it has some drawings, some artwork, and has some details on the arena. And, you know, of course it comes with the game. And some other little goodies. So I think it's always cool when games include that. Does it screw up the vibe of the shelf a little bit? Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I'll take it a little bit as long as it still has a spine that sort of matches, even though if it's a little bit off. But happy to add that to the collection, and happy to have now all of the Super Monkey Ball games, at least on one platform or another. I believe I have 2 now for the Switch and 1 for PS4. And then the last part of that first GameStop order of the month was this Kirby controller. My wife has been eyeing this for quite some time. And it is a wireless Kirby controller with this funny little face on it. I think it normally goes for about $45, something around that amount. I did end up snacking this for about $25, which I think was a good price. I'm probably going to keep it in the box for right now. I have enough Pro controllers where I don't really need to be ripping this open at the current moment. But, you know, really just kind of happy to have this, because I imagine as we go towards the Switch 2's life cycle, this will stop being made and, you know, stop being part of, you know, regular store shelves. So happy to finally pick that up. And then the last little bit before we kind of get into the last big VGP order is, excuse me, a smaller GameStop order that I made as they had a sale towards the end of the month that carried into February 1st. So I got 3 games, all priced at $22 a piece with my GameStop Pro membership. The first of which being Visions of Mana. This is a game that when it launched, I was interested in, but not at the $60 price point. I just don't really have a tie to the, you know, Mana series as many others do. But the game did look very interesting, and at $22.49 or something, or whatever the price was, that's a price point I'm willing to jump in at. So very happy to pick this up for that. And it actually did come in sealed, which is a rarity for GameStop when you're buying new copies. So very, very happy to see that. The next game I got, Dragon Age Veilguard, a very similar situation to Visions of Mana. Really, really love the Mass Effect games. Have dabbled in the Dragon Age series. I did play Inquisition back in the day. But for $70, Veilguard wasn't really catching my fancy back in October of 2024 when it did launch. But for $22.49, yeah, sure, I'll give that a shot. This did also actually come in brand new and sealed. I did start playing this on my PS5 Pro. I have been enjoying the couple hours or so I've been playing it with my wife. But I can already tell that the combat is a little bit rudimentary, so I don't know how long I'll be able to push through on this. I have heard it's about a 50 to 70 hour campaign, so I don't know if I'll be able to make it through all of that, given what I have played thus far, but we'll give it a shot. So, but as you can see, it is still already in my PS5 still, or one of the PS5 Pros that we have. So we'll continue powering through that, and I'll let you know how that goes. The last game as part of that GameStop pickup I did get was Starfield. This was a GameStop new, complete in box copy, but not sealed. I was happy to get this copy, I did pick up a copy of the Starfield expansion pass for like $7 back in December. That came with the Shattered Space expansion, the Steelbook, and a patch. So, was really happy to pick that up, but I didn't have the base game. I had started it when I had Game Pass at some point last year, but obviously, wanted to get back into it at some point. So as soon as Persona 3 Reload is finished and completed for me, I think this is going to be the next Xbox game that I'm jumping into. Right now, the disc is inside the console to get that download started. This is a game that pushed me over my Xbox Series X's 1 terabyte limit. So I did actually have to purchase a brand new storage device. I purchased a 2 terabyte expansion card because this is what pushed me over the edge, and I didn't feel like deleting any more games in order to make room. So there you go. Thanks, Starfield. Really appreciate that. Now, to wrap up the rest of this video, I don't know if that's the right phrasing, because really we're only halfway through, because just today at the time of filming, I did receive a rather large package. It's hard to tell for scale here, but basically this is a big package that I received from Video Games Plus, which has been coming in as one of my favorite places to buy games. And this might be the largest order I've ever made from them. This is about 20 games or so, spanning across a bunch of different systems that I got. Basically every game was on sale. There was not a single game in here more expensive than $20. The average game price, if you average it all out, I believe was $11. I believe I paid a total of $222, which is nothing to shriek about, or not to shriek about. But was really happy with the amount of games that I got for the money spent here. And so we'll kind of just dive into those right now. So to start off, here is the VGP sticker. Happy to always get a new VGP sticker, and this is their new one for 2025. Don't know how long we'll have the Happy New Year sticker being sent out, but always cool to get those. I have a couple of these on some of my Yeti water bottles, so always nice to see those. The first game we're going to take a look at is a game called Inked, A Tale of Love. This game really caught my eye, besides being only $13 and coming with a cool little notebook alongside of it. This is an import game. And the art style here is just really kind of magnificent. It is a kind of narrative puzzle game, which is, right up my alley. But what you see on the front is the style of the game. And I just thought that was really cool. I had never really heard of this game before. And I believe it was, $13 or just under $13. I couldn't really pass that up. So really excited to give that one a try here. Next up is a game called Runner Heroes Enhanced Edition. This, I believe, is like a runner game, so, think Temple Run on your iPhone. And it just looked really neat for, I think it was like $11 that I paid for this one. Comes with all the DLC that was in this game, and I believe another game. And it says, play as two royal lovers eternally doomed to be separated by the sun and moon in this action-adventure platformer. So excited to give this a try, and here's what I love about ordering from VGP and a lot of these cheaper games that I really haven't heard of before. If I'm paying $9, $10, $11, $12, $13, I can get a couple of hours of fun out of these games, and then either sell it on eBay, give it to a friend to borrow, whatever it may be, and I've got my worth out of it. So that's why I love doing some of these orders and just kind of giving some of these games a good shot. And it always comes really nicely packaged. VGP always sends their games in boxes, no matter how many games you order. If you're ordering 1 to 20 in my case this time, so it's always nice to have that come in that way. Next up, we got some Xbox games. Session, a skate sim. Really excited to dive into this one. I really love the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. I love, the skate games, obviously. Session is something a little bit different. It's a little bit more simulation focused. Been wanting to try out this one for a while. I love almost everything Nikon publishes. And this was literally $10. Literally is going to be worth an hour of my time. If it turns out to be something I'm absolutely not in love with, whatever, it's $10. Happy to give this a shot. Works on both Xbox Series X and Xbox One. So, really just excited to dive into that one. Like I said, $10 is $10. Not going to complain there. This is truly just it was there for $6 kind of pickup. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? These games have merit. I wanna give shout out to this stuff like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, things like that. Sometimes you just want to relax and chill out and play like a stupid little quiz game. This one says it has more than 6,800 questions. For $6.50, if you can get an evening of fun with you and your wife, or you and your family, or you and just yourself, and kind of having a good time just answering some quiz questions or whatever it may be, increasing your knowledge somewhere, that's enough for me. That's funny. Knowledge, I enjoy it. I enjoy just having a fun time. If it gives me an evening of fun, that's worth my $7. So happy to give that a shot one of these nights. And the last game, this is just a spare case at this point. I have no interest in playing this game. This is Tokyo 2020, the Olympics by Sega. Maybe some of the mini games in this will be cool. This is no Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics or anything like that, but this was $3. So I'm not going to complain about this. At the very least, it'll be a spare Xbox One case. So there you go, $3. Next up, now we're really getting into the PS4 and PS5 games, that I actually really, cared about. So, NASCAR 21 Ignition, was really excited to see this. I love getting racing games that I've never heard of or never seen before. This one I was not aware of at the time that it came out. This, I believe, was $11. Heck yeah, excited to try this out. There's a PS5, upgrade available. Right up my alley. Really excited to give this a try. Like I said, for $10 or $11, if it's a couple hours of enjoyment, that's worth my time. That's worth my money. Happy to do that. If it's more, even better. Really excited to give this one a shot. Next up, we have a game called Tandem, A Tale of Shadows. I believe this was another one of those $7 games or something like that. I believe it is just kind of like a puzzle platformer. Puzzle platformer genre. So the art looked cool. It looked interesting enough to give a shot for $7, and sometimes that's really all I need. So I added it to cart. Looking forward to giving that a shot one day. Next game here was inspired by the earlier in the month playthrough of Neptunia Riders vs. Doggoose. This is Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters. This was, I believe, $21. Want to continue expanding my PS4, PS5 collection. Have really prioritized collecting for that over the Nintendo Switch recently, simply because my Switch collection has gotten kind of out of control with, 215 plus games. And I've just been spending a lot more time on the PS4 and PS5 games recently. Has just been a lot more enjoyable for me since I got the PS5 Pro for my office and the one for the living room. So we're excited to get this game. Excited to give this one a try, especially since this will actually be longer than 2 hours. So excited to try that one out. Alice Gear Aegis. Don't really have a ton of info on what this one is about. I did see it was a P-Cube game. I have enjoyed some of their games in the past. It's got guns. It's got girls and mechs. Seems interesting enough. $13. Really not going to complain there. So excited to add that to the PS5 collection. Next two games here. Scottfold games. I believe these are kind of in the same vein as, Castlevania, as you can tell by some of the art here. These two are VGP physical exclusives. So, I believe they are about $10 each. You can really see some of the art here. Does kind of look a lot like some of the old Castlevania games here. So, excited to dive in and give these a shot. I've heard good things about these games, kind of being a mix of Castlevania, Dark Souls, but what isn't these days. Red Art Games, often publishes things that are pretty interesting. They can sometimes be a little bit obtuse though. So once again, it's $10 a piece. I'm really not going to complain if I only get a couple of hours of good use out of them, but really interested to have these on the shelf. And especially since they are VGP exclusive, excited to add these to the collection. The next one here, the Silent Swan, honestly reminded me of a game I played a little while ago that had a swan in it. It was kind of black and white, and you were kind of painting everything. This is another narrative experience, and you know, at $13, I really wasn't going to pass this one up in terms of adding this to the collection, at least giving it a shot. It looked really interesting to me, and sometimes that's all I need, especially at that $13 price point. So happy to add another game to the PS5 collection. Metalloid Origin was one I have been eyeing for the PS4 collection for quite some time. I have passed on it multiple times, adding it to my VGP cart while it's been on sale. Clearly, it's, you know, very up the alley of a Mega Man clone. But, you know, at $10 and on the streak of games that I was adding to my cart this time, I just said, why not? Let's go for it. So, you know, this is probably the top of my list out of, you know, some of these 20 games that I really do want to try out. So really excited here. Once again, we have another Red Art Games published title here. So this is definitely up there out of this kind of grouping of 20 that we have from this VGP order. Next up, 8 Doors, A Rum's Afterlife Adventure. This might have been something that was on PS Plus a while back. I can't remember. Again, we have a Red Art Games published title. I think you're sensing a theme here in terms of what was on sale at the time. But I just love the art style of this one. The PS4 and the PS5 copies were the same price. If that's the case, I'm going to prioritize the PS5 copies. I'm going to try to add to my collection there. But, you know, once again, $10, $11, whatever it may be, I'm going to give it a shot at that price. That's something I'm happy to dive in for and see what it's all about. So really like the art style here. Happy to see what it's offering here. Next up was one that really caught my attention, Colt Canyon. This is an import title. This one just had a really unique kind of art style and premise. It says, shoot your way through a hostile canyon full of hidden treasures, weapons, obstacles, and all kinds of bloodthirsty scum. It kind of gives that, you know, top-down shooter vibe. It reminds me a little bit of Enter the Gungeon, but like obviously more gritty in terms of, you know, kind of that Western setting. I love games that kind of just keep it simple and kind of just have that gritty vibe to it. And this kind of really gave that vibe to what it was doing. So once again, $10, I'll give it a shot if it piques my interest in any way for that price. So happy to have that one as well. Oni, Road to the Mightiest Oni, which seems a little bit redundant for a title, but another Red Art Games title, another PS5 upgrade available. You know, happy to see that this was on sale. Break your enemy's soul to reclaim your pride. Really don't know what this one's about, but for $10, once again, not going to complain. Like the art style, seems interesting enough to give, you know, it's fair day in the sun. So get around to this one day. Happy to see how it works out. More Red Art games coming up. Robo Zorro. I'll be honest, this one was kind of just, you know, on a roll, so I kind of just added it to the cart. I get to a point with a lot of these games that have kind of this pixel art that are, you know, side-scrolling platformers or whatever it may be, where it's just kind of, they all blend into the same thing. But at like $6, $7, once again, I'm not going to complain too much because if I don't like it, I can always, you know, give it to a friend, sell it real quickly in a bundle or something like that and just see how things are. This is another import title, you know, so not one that's normally sold in the States. So happy to just add that to the collection and see what else is going on here. Next up is the second and last Neptunia game as part of this VGP order. So Neptunia Game Maker Revolution. This was the other game that was on sale for about $20 on PS4 and PS5 that VGP had. They also had another game that was on sale around the $20 range on Switch, but once again, I'm trying to limit my Switch purchases right now. This one, I've heard good things about, at least on like Xbox, where like it was the definitive version or whatever. But I know this and Sisters versus Sisters are, you know, pretty similar in a lot of ways, but I guess I'll have to play and see how that goes. But once again, It's longer than 2 hours. I know that. So already, punching above Neptunia Riders versus Doggos, in my opinion. Next to last game here, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. Like I said, we had already gotten Banana Rumble earlier this month for the Switch. I already had whatever the other one is for the Switch as well. And then this is the third and final Super Monkey Ball game that has been re-released that I needed. And this was $6 for PS4 from VGP. So wanted to pick this up, complete the collection. I do really love the Super Monkey Ball games. I love just kind of, spending my time doing nothing, kind of thinking about nothing, and then, moving the controller, tilting the controller, and making sure that everything's going smoothly here. So happy to add this to the collection. And last but not least, for a cool, I believe it was $13, Persona 5 Tactica. Like I said, I've been playing Persona 3 Reload kind of nonstop on the Xbox right now. Almost got Persona 5 Royal as well, but I'm going to hold off on that for right now. I know this one is a little bit different than the standard Personas, but I have Persona 5 already on PS4. And I think at 13, or this may have been even like 7 or 8 or something like that. It kind of seemed like a no-brainer to me. I've never played an Atlas game I didn't like. So that kind of goes without saying, but, that is game 20 of 20, I believe. If we counted correctly. I wasn't counting, but this is my first time opening the box and seeing all these games from this order. So that is also the end of all of the games that I purchased this past month in January of 2025. I already have some more orders in. I have an order from VGP that I'm expecting. I have an order from Gamefly, their used bestsellers I'm expecting, and I have a couple of pre-orders that are coming in. So this is a new experience for me. We'll see what happens next month if I do this again. I appreciate you working with me and me trying out this format. I am sorry it took so long to get some content out. I moved, I got married, I bought a house, and I got sick 4 times. So that is why there's been such a delay in content. But hopefully, even though this is a little bit different, this is still enjoyable. I know this may just seem like, kind of like, oh, Logan went away and he bought like 8,000 games in a month. Yeah. Sometimes I buy games a lot. I like game collecting, but this is just one part of the content that I'm going to try to throw in. I had 3 videos written. They kind of became defeated by the annals of time, unfortunately, but going forward, I want to be more consistent with the content upload, but starting a new job as well and restarting my MBA kind of makes that difficult sometimes. So we'll see how things go, but I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed it, please like it, share it if you care to. Definitely subscribe if you haven't visited on the channel before. That will let me know that you enjoy this type of content. But until next time, I will see you on the next one.